Well, someone said that the Reserve Bank is an anomaly because we have private shareholders. Well, private shareholding is an historical legacy. Let me just spend a few seconds and say that when the Reserve Bank was created, it was in the aftermath of the 1918-1919 banking crisis in South Africa, when every single bank issued its own notes. And the notes had to compete. Well, they were backed up by gold somehow. But after that banking crisis, the world over there started to be a move that said, no, we can't trust these bankers. We must create a central bank. And the central bank was created. And when it was created with private shareholders, including the banks, but there was a restriction about how much shareholding can be held, and everyone was limited to 10,000 shares. But also there was another important issue. It was, you're going to create this bank, where is it going to get capital from? Which is why it ended up issuing shares. What subsequently happened is that a number of central banks got nationalized, sometimes for good reasons, but many times not for good reasons, because it entailed wanting to grab the control of the central bank. The German central bank, when it was nationalized, it was in the aftermath of what happened in Germany, and it was, we can't trust these other fellows, let us have this thing nationalized. We are one of only 9 central banks that are still having private shareholding. Private shareholders do not own the SARB. They have shareholding, but they don't own the SARB. And their rights are actually limited. They play no role whatsoever in the setting of or influencing the key mandates of the bank, be it monetary policy or financial stability. They have got no sway over the day-to-day management of the SARB, and they are restricted to a maximum of 10,000 shares, including the associates of those shareholders, out of 2 million issued shares. Shareholders receive a fixed return on their shares of 10 cents per share from profits made. This amounts to an overall dividend payment by the bank of 200,000 rands per year. 90% of the profits are then transferred to government, and the remaining 10% are allocated to the SARB as reserves. The private shareholders do not have any claim on the foreign exchange reserves of the bank. The reserves belong to the country. And private shareholders are unable, by means of a resolution or otherwise, to amend or change the SARB's affairs by deviating from the prescriptions of the South African Reserve Bank Act. In terms of the Reserve Bank Act, shareholders can approve, they have got the power to approve the appointment of auditors by the SARB and their remuneration. They elect non-executive directors to the board from a vetted list. The other 8 are appointed by the president, and these include the governor and the 3 deputies. Private shareholders represent an additional layer in the governance framework of the SARB by strengthening accountability and transparency. But what is the role of the SARB board, where the shareholders are having people who they had elected? The board itself is a corporate governance board and has no input or say in the policies related to the SARB's mandate and primary functions. The board's functions are limited to corporate governance issues, such as internal controls, including auditing, staff policies, and remuneration. The management of the business of the bank vests with the governor and the deputies, and they are all appointed by the president. So this concludes the first part of the presentation on the mandate of the SARB and the role that we play, and I think that it would be useful that we pause